2019 or 2020. It is for you to come up with your own strategy. Please understand the difference between a textbook and a coach. I am not a coach. I am at best a textbook. You can come here, see, and then you have to still act. You have to use your brains. You have to find a coach and do it, or you do it yourself. I have no reason to say why you should go to an advisor or not go to an advisor. Today I am going to talk to you about again a dividend strategy for retirement. This is something which not too many people think of, because it's a world of mutual fund investing, and mutual fund dividends, for heaven's sake, are very, very, very different from direct equity investing. So I'm here, when I'm talking of dividend, I mean dividend in the real sense. You bought the shares of a company, that company did well and paid you dividend. That is what I am talking about. So what are the things that you can do to get rich? Okay, so the steps remain more or less same. One, get a good degree and get a good income. Well, when I say degree, I don't mean educational degree. Some way how you can earn well, right? Like Virat Kohli earns from cricket, Vishwanathan Anand from chess, and Abhinav Bindra from shooting, right? So, or Deepika Padukone from acting, Shah Rukh Khan from acting. So whatever, find your main profession and do very well in that, because that is the base on which you are going to build your wealth. So if you don't have that solid base from which to save and invest, you will not be able to build an edifice. Whatever people tell you that you can invest so much and all that's fantastic, but if this base is not available, and especially if you're supporting a family, then which means some money from that will go away without much control that you have, then it becomes more difficult. So building that solid base is step one, especially if you are in your 20s. Don't worry so much about compounding. Of course, compounding is a great thing. I've written a book on compounding, but the most important thing is to build a solid base from which you will earn. So building that base, either through educational qualification or through practice or through discipline, whatever it needs to be done to make that your profession. Because let's say if you're an actor, I don't think for an actress or an actor, the life is about 10-12 years. Some men, especially in India, can go on till they're 92. But I mean, there are exceptions, of course, but the question is, you have a limited period in which to earn money. If you are a chartered accountant, that could be 40 years. If you are a doctor, that could be 40 years. But if you are an actor, that shrinks to about 10-12 years. That will be a peak. After that, you may still get roles, but that's what happens. So the most important thing is to earn well. After you earn well, you have to save well. So now let's say you're earning 5 lakhs a year. You can save 1 lakh and say, wow, I've saved 20%. You can save 2 lakhs and say, I've saved 40%. Or you can be saving 80%, saying, oh, I live on 1 lakh and I save 4 lakhs. Whatever, I'm not getting too much into taxation and things like that. 5 lakhs is anyway tax, up to 5 lakhs is anyway tax free. So how much you earn is very important, and how much you save is far more important, right? So the ability to save more will obviously put more money in your hand, and more money will be available for you to save and invest. What you save, you will be able to invest. Third is the asset allocation. I have been a big advocate of 100% in equity kind of a thing. So I've been about 85-90%. Even at this age, I am hugely into equities. I've got a small debt portfolio. My debt portfolio will take care of my maybe 10-12 years household expenses. It's not too bad, but that is a very small percentage of my net worth. So I am not a debt person. I am more an equity person. I don't look for great returns in debt. Debt for me is capital preservation. You have to decide what is good for you. Some people love a lot of debt. I don't like debt so much. So I'm basically an equity guy. Have your dividend reinvestment strategy when you are investing in direct equity, because you are anyway having a current income which you have created. You're young, you're 22 years of age, you're 25 years of age. You have your current income from which you're investing, so obviously you don't need the dividend income. So whenever you get the dividend, please reinvest it and in the same company from which you have got dividend, assuming that you're happy with the asset allocation that you have done. So once you start doing this, then you start looking at how much is the dividend income. Is the dividend income greater than your minimum required expenses? Suppose you're earning 5 lakhs per annum, you're spending 1 lakh. What amount you need to retire is just 1 lakh, right? 1 lakh per annum is your expense. So your dividend income, you don't have to wait for your dividend income to reach 5 lakhs for you to think you're financially independent. The minute your dividend income is in excess of 1 lakh, you're already in a stage where you're financially free. I'm just throwing these numbers, right? So these numbers could change. For somebody it could be 5 lakhs, somebody it could be 50 lakhs, somebody it could be 1 crore. So have a dividend strategy saying how you will buy dividend, how you will have a diversified portfolio, and how that dividend will get reinvested. Once you have this in place, you are on the path to creating wealth. Am I giving you top 10 shares to buy? No. Am I telling you, oh, these are great shares, great dividend yield? No. There are screeners available. Screener.in is a good place to go and have a look at it. Have a look at some of these places. Find out what is the dividend criteria, what suits you. Because I normally buy good dividend yield shares, so a lot of PSUs in my stock. But I also bought BHEL at 22 rupees, even though it was not, I am not very sure whether it was paying dividend. I bought Tata Power at 30 rupees simply because it was a great dividend yield. The day I bought it, I think they declared dividend. So my dividend, I didn't even have to wait. I got a 5% dividend yield. So at 30 bucks, when you buy a Tata Power and you get a dividend yield, remember the appreciation comes as a bonus. To me, the dividend is far more predictable than the appreciation. The appreciation in Tata Power I knew would happen, but I actually thought it will reach a price of 200 in about 5 years' time. It has reached a price of 160 in about 12 to 13 months' time, right? I was not, this was not what I thought in mind. So this is the strategy that I have used. So I do dividend call, I do an averaging, which means I keep buying more and more. I must have bought Tata Power from the price of 30 till the price of 60. Because as and when you have more money or you have some shares which you think you should sell, then you go and buy more of the same share. So look for good dividend yields. Buy it on the up, buy it on the down, doesn't matter as long as the dividend is there. What criteria to use, etc., we will talk separately. But this strategy has worked for me. See what will work for you. Then you can always say, oh, it was easy investing in the 1980s, that's your call. This is what I did, this is what worked for me. You have to see what will work for you. You have to make your own dividend strategy statement. I am not going to say this is a dividend strategy statement I did. That's at best I can do. I cannot say what you should do. For that, you need a coach or an advisor. I am not. I am at best a textbook. Thank you.